Hello friends, you are listening the Alec Award winner novel The Mysterious Call by author Master Namish Shastri. This book now is also displayed in New Delhi International Book Fair from Feb 10 to 18, 2024. So, if you are interested in hard copy of the mysterious thriller novel, go grab one from the International Book Fair at Pragati Maidan, Delhi. And as always, please like and share this video and do subscribe my channel. Now without further ado, let's hear the next chapter of this award-winning thriller novel in the voice of Richard Carlsen, the protagonist. Enjoy!
Arrest of Nicholas. Alex and I reached London Port, and it was around 8 p.m. It was dark, although the London Port was lit by artificial lighting. We both came out of the port and headed towards the Astra. Alex had parked it in the parking lot. However, as soon as we moved towards the parking lot, I jumped on Alex and we both fell on the ground. Bang! A bullet was fired, and had I not jumped with Alex, either of us would have been the target of that bullet. I said hurriedly, pointing towards a distantly parked car. Orange Ford Fiesta. Alex took out his Beretta M 1951, and I took out my Smith & Wesson 10. Before our nemesis could fire another shot, we both fired 3 rounds. I aimed at the tires of the Ford Fiesta, and in 2 shots I got the front driver's tire, and the third nullified the rear tire just behind the driver's seat. Alex instinctively aimed at the driver himself. Alex fired 3 shots, and it seemed the first shot hit the shoulder, and the gun dropped. Our killer was weaponless. The other 2 shots scraped through the other shoulder, and we could realize that our enemy was in extreme pain. He started his Ford Fiesta and tried to run away, but the tires were flat, and he could not move fast. It was good that the nearby crowd was not hurt due to this exchange of fire. There were many pedestrians even at that hour outside the London Port at that open parking lot. Alex and I hopped into the Astra quickly, and after a short chase, we caught hold of our foe. Alex stopped the car just ahead of the Ford Fiesta, blocking its exit. Alex and I quickly jumped out, and Alex pulled out our adversary, who was behind the wheel of that orange Ford Fiesta, while I was alert with my S&W 10 in my hand. He was bleeding profusely. The bullet had pierced his shoulder, and he was in extreme pain. Alex kicked him hard in the chest. "What's your name?" The person coughed. He was in extreme pain, but Alex knew no mercy. I was watching like a standby. Other onlookers were also observing from a distance. The 2 cops had caught hold of a criminal who had fired at them. Alex then pressed the bullet hole visible on the shoulder with his boot's toe. The person cried out in agony and pain. He uttered a few words feebly. "Ni olas." "Nicholas!" Alex shouted. The person lying on the road nodded, coughing and holding his shoulder to stem the bleeding accelerated by Alex's action. "Who asked you to harm Richard Carlsen?" Alex shouted. Nicholas remained mum. Alex placed the Beretta M 1951 just above the other shoulder and barked, "I think 1 bullet in 1 shoulder is not enough for you. The bullet inside your body needs company." Alex was about to shoot when Nicholas said, "Lisa Ross gave me the contract to kill Richard Carlsen, the senior police inspector." "Lisa Ross?" Both Alex and I were shocked. "Who is Lisa Ross?" I asked, just to be doubly sure. "Daughter of Sam Ross, Mafia Lord." Nicholas passed out while uttering these words. I and Alex looked at each other. The fact that Lisa Ross had given Nicholas a contract to kill me seemed unlikely. There were murmurs in the local circles, though, that Lisa Ross was now the new face for arms business. "We need to take him to the hospital," I said with urgency in my tone. Both Alex and I then lifted Nicholas, who weighed around 65 to 70 kilograms and was approximately 5 feet 7 inches tall. We settled him in the Astra's rear seat and rushed to London City Hospital. Alex completed the formalities, and soon Nicholas received the necessary treatment. The operating doctor came out of the operation room and briefed both me and Alex. He said, "The patient is out of danger. The bullet has been removed. There was a significant blood loss, but he will be all right in a couple of days. Nothing to worry about." "That is a great relief, doctor," I said. The doctor left, and then I said to Alex, "We need to bolster security here. If you don't mind, I would say let it be. We are thinly staffed, and right now our priority is to search for Watson. It has been almost 20 hours since his disappearance. I didn't like the idea, but I agreed with Alex that at present our priority was searching for Watson. An ailing Nicholas, who was a contract killer, was not our top concern. "Let me drop you home, it is quite late," Alex said. "Is Mariana still working?" I questioned. "Mariana works late into the night," Alex responded. "Then you better take me to her. I need the sketch of that mysterious girl. That is my first priority." "Okay," Alex said. Shortly after, we were both cruising past the beautiful roads of this magnificent city, London, and in around 30 minutes of driving, Alex swerved the car into a small alley, then another turn, and we were in an area where the local crowd was looking like hooligans. I saw many lying here and there, as if they had consumed too much liquor or were on drugs. The place was looking ominous when Alex said, "You need to get down. We must walk the remaining distance. The lane ahead is too narrow to accommodate Astra." I wondered where Alex had brought me, but I followed suit. Alex was leading the way. The people around them were bewildered to see two cops walking past them at that hour. It was around 10 at night. Soon we reached a small building. It was looking old, and the plaster was also falling in place. There were straight iron stairs that Alex climbed, and I followed. We reached the first floor, where there was a small dwelling house. Alex knocked on the door, and it was taking time to answer. I could see that below the crowd was gathering. It seemed the person staying in this dwelling was popular. The crowd was gathering because they thought the cops were here to arrest that person. I was feeling extremely scared. The hooligan-looking people were gathering in large numbers. Alex, on the contrary, was quite relaxed. He was not worried about the numbers that were gathering below. He continued stroking the door, and soon it was answered. I saw an old woman, maybe a sexagenarian or septuagenarian, who stared at us. She looked at me and Alex and then gave way. Alex entered, and I followed him. The lady closed the door. Her room from inside was dark and poorly lit. Alex gestured towards a chair, and I sat in the chair that was available. Alex comfortably seated himself, and the lady sat in the chair nearby. There was no sofa or comfortable settee, but only chairs and a small table in that room. "Yes, what brought you to Whitechapel?" Lady said. "We need a sketch to be prepared," Alex replied. I was looking at the lady. She was so old, and I didn't think she could see very well. How could she prepare a sketch? I was ruining the fact that I relied on Alex, but I had no option. I had to play ball. "£100, Lady shouted. "What are you, crazy?" I instantly responded. £105, Lady said calmly. "What, is this a joke?" I replied again. I got up from the chair in excitement. £110, Lady said again. "Agreed." Alex said that before I could say anything. I was shocked. Alex looked into my eyes and then comforted me. Alex and I then took out whatever money we had on our person, and it barely totaled to £110. We were literally left with no money. Lady took the money, counted it, and then clinched it in her right arm. Lady got up from her seat and then gestured for us to follow her. I and Alex followed her, and soon we were in the other room. There was a long table with a mattress on it, and then there was strange-looking equipment over that table. It was similar to an instrument that appeared to take brain mapping for a CT scan. Was this lady so rich to afford a complex CT scan machine? I was completely confused. Or was the instrument just a placebo? "Lie down," the lady growled. "I didn't understand," I said. "What word did you not understand? Lie down," Lady scoffed. Alex gestured to me to lie on the table. I lied down without further questions. My head was just near the big donut-shaped equipment. Rather, my head was inside, and the rest of my body was lying outside the donut. The lady then walked towards a small tripod. A big canvas was there. There were many brushes, oil paints, and pencils of varied sizes, and paints lying on the tray attached to the tripod. Lady shouted, "Who will describe?" Alex added, "Richard, she is ready. Please tell her what you have in mind." I was surprised. Instead of simply asking me, she was so sarcastic. But I ignored it and went into deep thought about the previous night. I saw that girl, who was around 5 feet 6 inches or so. She had small, blonde, mid-size hair, large eyes, and a beautiful face, which squealed that she may be of Italian descent. Her eyes were blue, and her face was flawless. Her build was normal, and she was neither skinny nor fat. I started describing what I witnessed, and the old lady started stroking her pencils on the canvas. Soon the lady pressed a button on the tripod which was connected to the donut-shaped equipment, and I felt as if some small spray hit me. I went into a trance and started explaining to the girl who opened that rosewood door in as many details as I could. Maybe if the spray had not hit, I would not have been in such a trance to explain the minutiae. The lady soon was asking many questions, and I was responding to them. In no time, the cotton rag on the cotton was filled with a figure, and Alex was looking at that beautiful figurine with intent. The girl drawn by Mariana was beautiful. Mariana drew even the smallest of details, such as a little scar on the right shoulder, the torn shirt there, disheveled hairs, a scared appearance on the face, torn denim jeans, etc. What I realized later was that the donut-type machine was also sending some voice signals to Mariana, as to at which point my voice tone was more forceful, where I was a little soft. That indicated something to Mariana that may be what I remember clearly, and for what I was not that sure of. In the next 30 minutes, Mariana gave shape to the girl in my mind. Mariana said, "Come and see." I got up from the table and walked toward Mariana. My head was aching, and it felt heavy. The spray had a strange impact on me. I reached the canvas and saw the painting, leaving me utterly shocked. The girl was just as I had imagined her. It seemed nearly impossible to create such a sketch. It appeared as if the girl could step out of the drawing and start speaking. Mariana had a magical touch. The 110 pounds were well worth the effort. I kissed Mariana's hand and took the painting. I rolled it into a scroll and glanced at Alex. "I told you she was the best," Alex said with pride. "She indeed is," I replied. "Well, young chaps, my work gets easier with the help of methamphetamine," the lady admitted. I was shocked. She was confessing to using an illegal substance. I didn't say much, but the lady continued. "The spray was to increase your alertness while keeping you sedated. It makes my work a lot easier." I didn't fully understand. This meant that the drug trade had penetrated so deeply that a septuagenarian lady could easily obtain such a drug. Alex saw my expression and understood my dilemma. He said, "Richard, let's leave. It's getting late." We both thanked the old lady and left her house. There was a huge crowd outside her house, and somehow I and Alex left, cutting them in between. Was Mariana a drug peddler? Why were so many hooligans here? I was in my deep thoughts, and I didn't realize that we had walked to where the Astra was parked. Alex and I sat down and left Whitechapel as soon as we could. That was not a safe place for cops in uniform. It was almost midnight, and the past 24 hours were extremely tiresome for me. I reached home, and as usual, Emily opened the door. "You looked exhausted," Emily said. "Yes, it was an adventurous 24 hours. "What is that scroll in your hand?" Emily inquired. "It is the painting of the girl whom I met when I went to answer the first mysterious call," I replied. Emily took the painting from my hands and opened it. She gave it a good look. She had many expressions. No wife would like her husband meeting girls as beautiful as depicted in that painting. She didn't say much. I also didn't get into any arguments, so I took the painting from her hand and scrolled it back. Alex knows this great sketch artist, who could make a painting as real as if someone had taken a picture. I responded, and then went inside the room. I put the painting on the desk and dumped myself on the bed. I was extremely tired and did not know when I had fallen into deep sleep. I slept in my uniform. I got up around 7 a.m. I didn't realize it. But at night, Emily might have opened my shoes and belt. She had put me in a comfortable pose and draped me in a blanket. I rubbed my eyes and, yawning, got up from my bed. I saw that the painting scroll was kept on the table where I had put it last night. I was tired and started searching for Emily. I wanted to have a good cup of coffee. Emily was not to be found, but I heard some noise in the kitchen. I presumed it was Emily, so I entered the kitchen and, surprising enough, found Miss Taylor. "Good morning." Miss Taylor looked at me and said, "Morning. Where is Emily?" I questioned. "She has gone out this morning." Morning. I checked the hanging wall clock. It is just 7 a.m. where Emily had gone that early. You need a good vegetable soup for lunch. Emily had gone to the supermarket to get the stuff. Miss Taylor ended my curiosity. Oh, she is a good wife. I said it with a slight grin. I was extremely lucky to have Emily. You want something? Miss Taylor asked. A cup of coffee, I said. Sure. You just freshen up. I will serve you. Miss Taylor responded while she was totally occupied with the kitchen work. As for Watson, I wanted to comfort her. Did you get any news? Miss Taylor asked. She stopped for a while and looked at me with lots of optimism. Not yet, but you don't worry. I will surely find out. I made a promise. Miss Taylor was not interested in such false promises. She got back to the chores she was doing. I got the signal and left the kitchen. I got ready, and after my usual morning schedule, I was sitting on the sofa in the living room. I was fresh and energetic after a good sleep and shower. I was waiting for the coffee. In the meantime, I thought of looking at the painting prepared by Mariana. I got the scroll from my room and sat with it on the sofa set. I opened the painting scroll, and with my right hand holding the cotton rag at one end, I made it wide open. I could not help but praise Mariana for making such a live image of that girl. The mysterious girl. Was she behind the downfall of the drug mafia in the past few days? Was she the reason why Johnson Allen was killed? I must meet my friend Wordsworth to gather more news about Allen. Miss Taylor had prepared the coffee. She had come with 2 cups of coffee, and she sat beside me. We were both enjoying coffee when Miss Taylor took a look at the opened painting. She put her cup on the table, took the painting in her hands, and opened it up properly. She saw the girl in the painting and exclaimed, Richard, how do you know her? She questioned. I was surprised. Did she know about that girl? I and Watson met her in bungalow no. 9. She opened the door, I responded. She, Miss Taylor said it surprisingly. You know her? I asked. No. Miss Taylor responded. I was not sure why Miss Taylor was looking surprised at that sketch image. However, my question was answered shortly. This girl, if I am not mistaken, used to visit Watson for the past 2 to 3 days on a regular basis. Ms. Taylor said this while continuing to stare at the painting. What? I said it shockingly. How is that possible? She again had a deep look. The painting was made meticulously, and there was no room for doubt or confusion. She said, I am sure. It was she. This girl used to meet Watson. I said this while I was still in shock. Yes, around 3 days ago she had come to our home also. Then, the day before yesterday, Watson took her on his motorcycle. You asked who she was, right? I was curious. I did, but Watson hushed me and said not to be nosy like Emily, Miss Taylor explained. I was surprised by this new discovery. If Watson had been meeting this girl, why hadn't he told me? He had seen the girl in that bungalow, but both he and the girl had acted as if they were meeting for the first time. Something didn't add up. I immediately called Alex. I knew he might be tired and possibly asleep, but to my surprise, he answered the call promptly. Yes, Alex said. Can we meet? I requested. I'll come right away, Alex responded. Okay, I'm waiting for you. Come, I said, and ended the call. I got ready, and soon Alex arrived at my home. I took the painting and left. Emily had not returned, so I informed Miss Taylor that I might be late. I had to go investigate the case. Alex and I were soon in Alex's Astra, speeding along the morning roads of this great city, London. Alex asked, What happened? You look disturbed. Watson had been meeting this girl regularly in the past 2 or 3 days, I said, holding up the hand that held the painting, folded into a scroll. What? Alex exclaimed in surprise. Yes, despite that, Watson never mentioned that he knew the girl. Do you think Watson was involved? Alex questioned. I'm not sure, but now, when I consider Watson's sudden disappearance and the absence of any signs of struggle at the scene, it suggests that Watson has deliberately disappeared. Don't forget, Watson was the one who killed Henry Walter, Alex added. Yes, the team was led by Louis, but it was Watson who killed Walter. Walter accidentally spilled some highly corrosive acid on his face and body. I added. If we view the situation in this new light and twist the story, that means Watson was working for Sam Ross. He killed Henry Walter, who was the only adversary. Sam Ross became the sole kingpin of the mafia in London. The girl was behind this mafia. She somehow found out that Watson was involved, and that's why she closed the door. She managed to call you there, but when she saw Watson with you, she got scared. Possible, Alex, but something doesn't add up. What? If Watson was involved, why was the girl meeting him? Maybe the girl initially thought Watson would be of help. She was the one who was the informer, but the mistake she made was relying on Watson, Alex concluded. I nodded. The storyline seemed plausible, but I needed more confirmation before I could be certain about it. Lost in thought, I didn't realize that Alex had asked, "Where to?" I had forgotten that I hadn't informed Alex about our destination yet. I assume Robert might have finished his work. Let's go to the forensic lab, I said. Alex promptly drove the car to the forensic lab, which was located near our police station. I and Alex were sitting in Robert's cabin, and Robert was showing us something on the large television screen. The deceased indeed are Johnson Allen and a lady who might be in her mid-60s, Robert said. How are you so sure about Allen? I inquired. Because the fingerprint all across the house matched that of the deceased. Now it was highly unlikely that someone was in the house, but he was not the owner. That is still a weak piece of evidence, I countered. Then what you suggest? Great Carlsen, sir, Robert said with punity. Not sure, but it was also possible that there was another sexagenarian person living in the house for a long time, and he could be deceased, I concluded. Okay. Robert nodded. But then he added, how will you counter this fact that the person who died had the same blood group as registered for Johnson Allen? Robert showed a medical report for Johnson Allen, which the team found in the file in the house. I will still say that what if someone was staying in that house as Johnson Allen? I tried to counter. Then you are right, Robert conceded. Richard, but we have no proof that Johnson Allen was not staying in that house, Alex countered. I met the security guard of bungalow No. 10, and he suggested that Johnson Allen rarely come into the house. Some caretakers used to come. What if the fingerprints and the body belonged to that caretaker? I expressed my doubt. That is possible, Mr. Carlsen. Robert accepted. What else do you have? What about that lady? I questioned. I found some fingerprints of that lady, too. Her hair and blood traces were there. That means the lady was in the house for at least a couple of days, Robert added. Interestingly. We don't have any clue about her, I said. More so, the lady used to touch the strange plant you said more often than the man, Robert added. What? I said, shocked. Yes, I found traces of the plant under the woman's fingernails but not on the body of the deceased man, Robert said. He opened some pictures on the screen. That means the lady was using the Lakshmi plant to help camouflage the drugs, Alex said. Could that mean she was Profer Lakshmi Trust? I said, shocked. But why would they kill her? I can understand about Allen. Allen stupidly leaked out the secret to that girl. But why will the mafia kill Lakshmi Trust? Alex added. I am not sure, I said. Then I asked, looking at Robert. Robert, is it possible for you to check the record and see whether the deceased lady can be Profer Lakshmi Trust? I've already done that, Robert said. How come? We never told you about Lakshmi Trust. I was surprised. Dr. Jonathan had told me earlier about Lakshmi Trust and that Lakshmi plant. I had called him up when I was researching about it. You are extremely sharp, Robert, I said, praising Robert. Thanks, but I am afraid, whatever public domain information we have, it is not enough to conclude that the deceased was Profer Lakshmi Trust. But the good part is, I intervened before Robert could complete. There is no evidence that suggests otherwise. Yes, Robert laughed and nodded. Could you check whether Watson's fingerprints are there? I questioned. I will. Watson's print might be there in our records from the past, Robert said. Also, how many fingerprints were there? I asked. There seemed to be 7 people, Robert said. 7? I questioned. One is of the lady, as you were saying, whom you met. I found a few strands of hair belonging to a young girl. though there was one more set of strands of hair belonging to another lady, maybe in her early 30s. What? I said, shocked. Yes, sir, Robert said. This means there were 2 dead bodies, the sexagenarian people, then 2 ladies, one whom I might have met, and one more, and there were 3 more people there, I said. It could be the 2 security guards and Watson, Alex added. Seems so, I said. I will check about Watson and confirm shortly, Robert said. If you get to know anything else, let me know, I told Robert and left the room. Alex followed me. One thing was clear. The person who died could be Johnson Allen and Lakshmi Trust, or it could be some caretaker who used to visit and Lakshmi Trust, or some other combination. The case was getting mired in deep secrecies, and every tryst added a new layer. I need to act fast. We both hopped into Alex's Astra. Where to? Alex asked. Let's first go to the registrar's office, I concluded.